Of all the things we expected to see at a simulation conference, I'm not quite sure we expected the realism, as it were, of a device that's going to basically turn somebody inside out in order to see what their tolerance is for unusual attitudes. Kevin, if you can, talk to me about Vestimumax. What brought this on? What are you trying to do with it? And what's the market?
Okay. Well, Vestimumax is a new product. This is the debut of this product. It was originally developed to help people with sensory integration disorders. We come out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is where the Air Force Academy is. So we have then been able to transfer the medical technology to the military technology, or their needs. And so this device is basically a trainer for spatial disorientation, reduction, and motion sickness desensitization. And we accomplish this through incremental adaptation of the stimuli for the patient. So we can incrementally increase the stimulation from a slow rotation in pitch and yaw, cross-coupled stimulation, and increment it in such a way that we desensitize the patient or the pilot to the stimuli, and we can then push the physiological capabilities of these pilots and patients.
Well, after teaching aerobatics for about 30 years, one of the things you notice is that people's tolerance for unusual attitudes, for G, and for all the things that associate with that between the first hour and the fifth hour are obviously drastically different. How long does it take a device like this to offer a suitable transition to, for instance, a fighter pilot who's not getting enough hours?
Okay. Well, that again depends on how that individual pilot is wired up neurologically. So I really can't speak to actual lengths of time. But as you just mentioned, it can occur quickly or over a long period of time. And so that's for the flight surgeon or the doctor to really determine. But that's the beauty of this device, is that we have the ability to truly quantify their response to this stimuli. So I can put you in this machine and I can tell when you are going to be nauseous or when you're starting to have uncomfortable experiences. So this is all captured real time with the stimuli.
Okay.
So the doctors don't need to really rely on your verbalization of, no, I'm doing fine, as you're really not feeling too good. The doctors will know that. So that's how we can quantify the stimulation.
Aero TV is brought to you by Cirrus aircraft have always been easy to fly. Now they're easier than ever to buy. A complete line of ownership programs gives you everything you need to purchase, trade, finance, lease, insure, and warranty your Cirrus. There's even an ownership program for non-pilots. The Cirrus Access Pilot can teach you how to fly or fly the plane for you. Find out more at www.cirrusdesign.com. Cirrus, for the love of flying. Now, back to Aero TV.
This is how we control this Vestimumax. We control both the pitch and the yaw axis, and we display it graphically over time. So this is the protocol that you just wrote. So for the first time, we can really truly see the stimulation that the patient or the pilot is experiencing. And it's all controllable. The acceleration rates, deceleration rates, durations, rotations, and so it is a truly quantifiable stimulation. Now the beauty of course, today's technology and what the Vestimumax is all about, it's all about quantifiable results. So we have a quantifiable stimuli right here going out to the pilot. We also have the capability of measuring your physiological responses and charting that we have another software package that charts it all real time. So I can see your responses, your heart rate, respiration, perspiration, nystagmus. If the flight surgeon wants to monitor brain waves, he can do that too. And so we can see how you are responding to certain pitches and rolls and spins.
Tim, can I get you to talk a little bit about the market? Who would be interested in something like this, and where do you expect to place devices like this?
Sure. We've seen interest from certainly the medical aspects that Kevin's spoken about, as well as a lot of training facilities, of course, U.S. and abroad, and numerous places that we do train people. The portability of this, it plugs into 120 volt, 15 amp. Its overall size is 7 foot by 7 square foot site. Makes it very easy to use at a number of locations. Our target market, again, medical and a lot of training. And even for seasoned pilots who need to keep that edge, who have had extended ground time, need to stay sharp. And this is a method of doing that without the costs incurred of taking a jet up and the maintenance and fuel costs and so forth associated with that.
Well, it would seem to me with flight hours becoming more and more expensive, and unfortunately with allocations being what they are, trying to get stick times harder and harder property. So anything you can to keep the edge up seems to be a fairly smart idea.
Yes, and that's what the input that we're receiving from a lot of the attendees of the show.
What kind of interest are you getting? I mean, do people get it? I mean, this is a very professional community. They're out here for one reason only. What's going to make aviation, well, in this particular case, aviation safer for them and allow people to do their job better and more completely downrange? Do they get it?
Yes, they really do. And we're not pilots, but the feedback that we have from pilots that have flown numerous hours, have been in this unit and said, wow, they really feel it, they understand it, they see how it would be beneficial to up-and-coming pilots, they see how that could be beneficial from a medical standpoint, and as we talked about, the costs, operating this on the ground, very safe, very cost-effective.
We actually had a F-16 fighter pilot yesterday riding in this, and he had a spatial disorientation situation where he had to punch out, and so he lost the aircraft. He lived to tell the story. So he was in this and he was throttling around at full speed, and this is a quote from this guy. He said, "This feels like the real thing." So that was really, truly a remarkable statement from this guy.
Aero TV is brought to you by...
Today, there is an affordable, high-performance, easy-to-own and easy-to-operate very light jet designed with you in mind. Far less expensive than any other twin-engine jet to buy, it is also the least expensive to own and operate. It is the Eclipse 500, the jet that's easy to buy, easy to fly, and fun to own. The jet for you.
Now, back to Aero TV.
It's not a problem. Can you relate to me, as you told me a little while ago, what was the idea that came forth to bring this device to you?
Absolutely. This does come from a medical background, a very, very sincere need. I am the father of a daughter, Mackenzie, who has cerebral palsy. So my wife and I, we became her therapist. And we found out that because of her cerebral palsy, she had a rather significant amount of sensory integration disorders. And vestibular stimulation is one of the major components in sensory integration. And we were told that she needed a lot of this vestibular stimulation to help improve her balance and her sensory integration. Started by spinning her in an office chair and rolling her around on the floor. I'm an engineer, come from a background of automation, and there was a major need for something better than that. And so I invented, prototype number 1, and you're looking at, this is number 9 or 10 right here. Not that it's a prototype, this is the device now. So this comes from a very significant need for children with brain injuries and sensory integration disorders. We are currently involved in pilot studies for children with ADD, autism, and so there's a very, very large clinical market. And we've just kind of hopped over the fence into the military market for this ITSEC show because, again, working with the Air Force Academy. So that's what brings us here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.